than an Israeli. So
that
that's
individual being you.
Yeah, me. That those of us, the Alan Goodmans or whatever, I mean, who are still primarily overwhelmed with the vision of Israel and the idealism and everything that Israel represents and has to represent and one day will ultimately be able to achieve. The average Israeli still sees himself primarily like that. I'm not sure I follow what you mean. I mean, I think it's a tragedy when people commit suicide, whatever their, you know, their.
There was a certain amount of controversy surrounding his business life, and I think to the extent that you associate idealism with socialism, it's the egalitarianism.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I. Yeah.
To the extent that you try to put socialism with idealism, I think this incident, if any conclusion could be drawn from it, would tend to disprove that.
No, I'm sorry if you misinterpreted what I said by trying to, that I identify idealism with socialism, because I don't. What I said is, and let me say it again, for those who truly believe whatever they believe in, they're idealistic in that sense. You have tremendous faith and commitment in Israel on the right and on the left. I mean, I might personally find some of it, you know, that I don't choose to identify with personally at heart. But I find, let's say, those who are, again, please don't misunderstand what I'm going to say. But those who try and go into the Temple Mount today and blow up the mosques because they truly believe that only by destroying the mosques and you set the stage for rebuilding the temple, which is the precondition for the Jewish people ultimately having their sovereignty, they are true idealists. I mean, in their sense of the word. Real idealists. You have tremendous fervor in the real pioneering elements who are going in the West Bank. Tremendous sense of idealism, as opposed to people who are just making money by buying homes there. So idealism is certainly no monopoly of either left or right. Just as you have, I said, you have a lot of people on the left who are not idealists. You have a lot of forms, a lot of, you know, outdated forms. And lots of people who are attending them not idealistic. I do not think idealism is a monopoly of any ideology. What I am saying is, and I'll say this very, very carefully, in Israel today, the only way to understand what's going on in Israel is to say it's not political battles going on. There are political battles. But underlying those political battles, there is a fight for the heart and soul of Israel. And there's a fight of different people with different visions. You can identify at least 3 major ones, and each of the groups that are fighting, I'm talking about the real fervor, are deeply idealistic and deeply committed in their sense. Now, in that fight, I have my own view, but I do not, discount and say only those who support my view are idealists and the others are not.
Okay. Let me just take one last question. Yes, ma'am.
Well, the new country is being built. That I could say. My idealism. Let me say this. In order to be a Jew or in order to survive in this world, you have to be a short-term pessimist and a long-term optimist. Ultimately, there will be peace and stability in the Middle East. Ultimately, the Arab opposition to Israel will pass. When the Arab world can develop the form of society that can provide a decent life for its people, then they will no longer have to fight Israel and be upset with Israel can do. We have to make sure Israel holds on until that time comes. Ultimately, it will. Ultimately, the battles that are going on inside Israel will be resolved one way or another. I trust, because I am an optimist, it's not going to be such a Kulturkampf that's going to come that way. And I trust, and now let me give my political criticism, I trust that Israel will develop a political leadership that will be able to call the best of our people together rather than exacerbate the tensions among them, and rather than only represent one side and exacerbate the tension, to call upon the best that can unite the people and give a common vision in spite of all the differences that split the people. One way or another, it will be done. And the only thing I will urge you, if we're ending now, remember, listen, it's the only Jewish state we have. It's the only one we have. I mean, every once in a while, especially living there, I keep saying if there was another one, oy boy, might be there. I mean, it's the only one we have. More than that, ladies and gentlemen, it's the only chance the Jewish people have to play a role in history, as opposed to individual Jews who can do whatever, whatever name. But this was our dream, and that dream is still true, that after thousands of years, we would be able as a people to make a mark in history, which is why the dream is so important. The whole thing was not just to make a little Albania somewhere in the Eastern Mediterranean, not just to have a place where Jews can come. I mean, that was the precondition, but that was to give you the possibility of doing something with it. Now, whether you share my vision or somebody else's vision, everybody has a vision. It has to be something more than just another country. And I will only ask you, don't get so obsessed with the difficulties because they are great. And don't become so disillusioned and so disappointed with the fact that it's not there yet. All right? Most of our resources are not able to be devoted to positive things. They're diverted, for that. And we have a lot of people who didn't come the best talented, and not everyone is a tzaddik, and not everyone is a saint, and all the things. But with everything that is going on, we are building something exciting. And therefore, my final word to you is, number one, you can come and join. I mean, that's number one. Number two, if you don't come and join, get involved and help. And I don't mean only help keep Israel strong, but help determine what kind of Israel is going to be. It's the only one we got, and you're as involved as I am. Thank you very much.
Professor Pollack, thank you very much. Is Mrs. Alice in the audience? I was told that one of the actresses from the film might be here. You're all invited to join Professor Pollack in the art gallery for some wine and cookies.